Your first car wasn't what you thought it was. That Honda, Toyota, or Ford you proudly saved up for might have just been a rebadged twin wearing a different grille. Back in the 90s and 2000s, manufacturers could easily swap badges on identical cars and sell them for more. Here are 15 rebadged cars that fooled an entire generation of buyers. Let's see if your first car makes the list. Number 15. Mercury Tracer, Ford Escort, 1991 to 1999. We will begin with one of the most successful automotive lies in history. When you bought a Mercury Tracer in the 90s, you have my congratulations, you bought a Ford Escort dressed up fancy. And you probably spent thousands to have the privilege. With its luxurious grille and interior finishing, the Mercury Tracer gave the appearance of respectability. It was sold as a high-end compact auto by Mercury, above the Ford Escort, which was in the upper mid-range. However, remove the marketing buzz and you would have the same car under the skin. The Tracer was based on the same Escort, and also using the same Mazda-derived engineering. Not only that, but also it was somewhat theater-esque. It had the same 2.0-liter engine, same transmission, same suspension, and same everything. The only significant differences were the cosmetic ones. That signature Mercury light-up grille that made the buyers believe they are buying something special. The twist was that dealerships were charging more for cars that were basically identical under the skin, just sold under different badges. It is like purchasing brand-name water when the tap is supplied from the same source. The dealers of Mercury were aware that they could use the brand name of being luxurious to charge better prices to customers who needed a more perceived fancy car than a Ford. The irony? Both automobiles were good cars in reality. The Escort platform was steady and competent. Thousands of consumers spent additional money on illusions of luxury, where they could have had the same feeling of driving a car behind the wheel. It was badge engineering at its most shameless, yet one of the most profitable examples. Number 14. Cadillac BLS Saab 9.3, 2005-2009. When you think badge engineering is bad in America, you can imagine the European horror. Cadillac BLS was an initiative by GM to assure the Europeans that GM pays attention to building advanced luxury cars. Spoiler alert, they were not able to. The BLS was basically a Saab 9.3 in disguise, repackaged to wear the Cadillac name without changing much underneath. Identical GM Epsilon platform, identical engines and chassis, same everything. However, GM sold it to European consumers as genuine American luxury engineering when they did not know any better. The twist? The majority of the Europeans who had done their homework knew that they could acquire the identical car at a cheaper price by acquiring Saab. The BLS had nothing new to do than the different grille and useless price to pay. It was GM moving furniture with their names and hoping the purchasers would not take notice. European auto lovers did not fall. When they saw Saab engineering, they knew what it was and were not going to pay Cadillac prices on Swedish DNA. A spectacular failure of the BLS indicated that badge engineering is more successful when one cannot simply compare shop the donor car against the one at the dealership across the street. This was the tutorial on how not to introduce a luxury brand to a sophisticated market. Europeans demand that their luxury badges should have content and not merely marketing propaganda. Number 13. Pontiac Torrent Chevrolet Equinox 2005-2009. And this is where badge engineering came to its highest standards at GM. The Pontiac Torrent and Chevrolet Equinox were constructed on the same GM T191 truck platform and were produced on a common assembly line and feature very similar specifications. It was just a matter of cosmetic details that did not fool a single person. The same 3.4-liter V6 engine, the same transmission, the same interior parts, and that's nothing more. Pontiac attempted to distinguish the Torrent by making it a little more aggressively styled and using different wheels, but it was lipstick on a pig. Well, new lipstick on the same pig in this case. The insulting part? GM expected buyers to develop brand loyalty to literally identical cars. It was like asking someone to choose between Coke and Pepsi when both bottles contained the same liquid. The confusion level among buyers was off the charts. Smart shoppers quickly realized they could negotiate better deals by playing Pontiac and Chevrolet dealers against each other. Why spend extra on a Torrent when the Equinox offered the same features for a lower price? Or vice versa? GM was asking buyers to pay for the illusion of choice when no real choice existed. Number 12. Eagle Summit Mitsubishi Mirage Dodge Colt 1993 and 1996. Eagle Summit, Mitsubishi Mirage, and Dodge Colt were not mere twin cars, but the same car marketed out via diverse dealer systems. A platform, 3 brands, 3 points at different prices. This was a result of the Chrysler-Mitsubishi partnership that had resulted in a strange case whereby buyers in America could purchase the same car made in Japan that had 3 badges. It had the same CVT transmission, 1.5-liter engine, the same interior, and everything. There were only some styling changes and some dealer marking options. The Eagle Summit acted as a luxury version. The target of this model was the customers who were not ready to spend a lot on a vehicle, but they needed to feel more classy than a Dodge. The economy model was the Dodge Colt with its features removed. However, it was mechanically the same. Mitsubishi Mirage was the real Japanese import to the buyers who wanted the representation of foreign badges. Now, here is the thing. They were all brought in the same factory, on the same parts with the same people. It was similar to ordering pizza in 3 different restaurants and all of them sharing the same kitchen. The look of the boxes was different, whereas the product remained the same. Intelligent consumers who adapted to this were able to shop for the best deal, and it did not matter which badge one liked. But the majority of purchasers were lured into buying the marketing, and different prices were paid for an identical vehicle. It was badge engineering to an extreme. Number 11. Holden Apollo, Toyota Camry, 1989 to 1996. Holden Apollo was the clearest rebadging exercise in Australia, a Toyota Camry with a Holden logo and nothing, absolutely nothing modified. General Motors Holden was aware of the fact that they would never be able to compete with Toyota in terms of reputation for reliability, so they did what any company would do in such a case. They purchased Toyota Camrys and resold them under the badge of Holden through their current dealer network. The same car, the same engine of 2.2 liters, the same interior, everything is the same as it is. The Apollo was not even making any attempt to conceal its Toyota genes. Examine the car by going round and you will discover the Toyota part numbers. Open the hood and you'd see Toyota's engineering all over the place. So evident that Australian car magazines had a field day mentioning the similarities. However, this is the strange part. It really worked. Australian customers received Toyota reliability backed by local distributors, as well as warranty cover. Holden dealers also got an opportunity to sell a decent mid-size sedan without developing it on their own. It was a win-win, though it was a totally transparent one. The Apollo indicated that not all the time badge engineering should be a lie. Australian customers were fully aware of what they were purchasing, a Toyota with Australian backing, and they were happy with that arrangement since it presented them with the best of both worlds. Number 10. Holden Nova, Toyota Corolla, 1989 to 1996. Holden did not stop at rebadging a single Toyota and proceeded to do the same with the Corolla. The Holden Nova was one more badge job that was not attempting to be even pretend to be something, but Japanese. Same engine, same chassis, the same interior, etc. The Holden dealers just sold literally Toyota Corollas with alternate badging. An Australian customer would be able to enter a Holden dealer and drive out with one of the most dependable products in the small car market in the world, backed by local dealer support. The Nova was clearly a Toyota in disguise, which became a common joke among Australian car lovers. Reviewers often joked, saying, "The Nova handles just like a Corolla because it is a Corolla." The badge swap was so obvious it was almost honest. But again, it worked. Australian buyers got proven Toyota reliability without having to deal with Toyota's limited dealer network. Holden got to offer competitive small cars without the massive development costs. It was badge engineering at its most practical and honest. The Nova proved that badge engineering doesn't have to be deceptive to be successful. Sometimes buyers just want good cars with convenient dealer support, regardless of who originally designed them. Number 9. Opel Omega B Cadillac Catera, 1997-2001. This is where badge engineering goes wrong, all terribly wrong. The Cadillac Catera was introduced as GM's attempt to bring a touch of European luxury to the American sedan market. It went on to be a warning against trying to ride badges to solve intrinsic product issues. The Catera was simply rebranded as an Opel Omega of German origin and marketed as a European Cadillac to the American customers who desired a more upscale product than the conventional American luxury cars. GM invested millions in selling it as the Caddy that zigs, a more sporting and European kind of luxury sedan. However, the Catera fell flat right from the start. It was electrically challenging, had shifting glitches, and build quality which would turn a Yugo owner away in horror. The buyers who were American and had anticipated Cadillac luxury received German engineering problems. The car was not reliable, costly to fix, and forgettable to use. The failure of the Catera had little to do with badge engineering alone. It was a case of cultural misunderstanding. German customers sure would have put up with the oddities and the repair needs of the Omega, But 23 years later, American luxury customers wanted their cars to be perfect. Catera failed to provide European elegance or American dependability. In the case of the Catera, GM quit the name after only 4 years, having learned that you cannot simply put a prestigious name on a mediocre vehicle and hope it will succeed. The failure of the Catera meant that Cadillac had to undergo a total remodeling by building new models, such as the CTS, that were built to suit the American luxury customers. Number 8. Toyota Paseo Tercel Coupe, 1991 to 1999. In other cases, badge engineering occurs even in the same brand, and the Toyota Paseo is a classic example. When buying Paseo in the 90s, you were essentially investing in a Tercel, which will have a more sporty body and will be sold under a different name. The Paseo was based on the Tercel platform, and to a great extent on its engines and other mechanical parts. It had the same gearbox, the same suspension setup, and even the same 1.5-liter engine under the hood. The actual distinction lay solely in the coupe body, which made Paseo seem sporty and young, in contrast to the Tercel sedan, which was practical. Toyota sold the Paseo as an inexpensive sports car that would be enjoyable because young customers wanted something eye-catching, more than the common economy car. However, a large number of younger purchasers paid a premium to get the sportier status of the Paseo, and this showed that sometimes badge engineering can be as psychological as mechanical. Number 7. Opel GT Saturn Sky Pontiac Solstice, 2007-2009. The Kappa platform by GM resulted in one of the most blatant or direct badge engineering operations in the history of modern motoring. 3 other cars, model Opel GT, model Saturn Sky, and model Pontiac Solstice, had everything in common except their grills and marketing messages. The 3 automobiles all shared the same chassis, similarly to the 2.4-liter Ecotec, the same engine, similar transmission, and similar suspension system. The variations were mere cosmetic observations, headlight designs, grille designs, interior trimmings, etc. But mechanically, they were identical. The Saturn Sky was marketed as a premium roadster for sophisticated buyers who wanted European-style design. The Pontiac Solstice was positioned as an affordable sports car for enthusiasts who wanted performance without luxury pricing. The Opel GT was sold in Europe as a German-engineered roadster. But here's the thing, they all drove the same. Same acceleration, same handling, same everything. The insulting part was that GM expected buyers to develop brand loyalty to mechanically identical cars. It was like asking someone to choose between 3 identical restaurants with different decorations. Number 6. Daewoo Matiz Chevrolet Spark, 1998 to 2005. This is evidence that badge engineering is not purely American. Daewoo Matiz was rebranded as Chevrolet Spark in all the markets worldwide, giving buyers a false sense that they were purchasing different brands of cars. Initial designs of the Matiz were city cars made by Daewoo and to be sold in emerging markets. It is the same engine, platform, everything. However, when GM bought Daewoo and incorporated it into its operations around the world, it relaunched the Matiz as the Spark in those countries where the Chevrolet brand was better accepted. The change was a mere cosmetic one, new grille, new badges, and new marketing messages. Nonetheless, the car underneath was the same. The Matiz Spark has demonstrated that badge engineering is an international process of brand perceptions instead of real product differentiation. Shoppers in any part of the globe were paying varying prices for similar cars just because the badges attached to it were of different value to them. Number 5. Mahindra Verito Renault Logan, 2007-2012. The Indian car market is a perfect case where badge engineering is easy to spot. The Mahindra Verito was a Renault Logan in a new outfit with different badges, and Indian customers were well aware of it. Mahindra used the Logan platform and replaced the grille and badge, and marketed it in their dealer network as an Indian-made sedan. The same engine of 1.4 liters, the same chassis, the same interior, the same everything. The difference was just cosmetic, which could not deceive anybody. The Verito was not a car that was aiming to disguise its Renault heritage, as it was co-branded with Mahindra and Renault. The Indian consumers would have had the option of either purchasing the Logan in Renault dealers or the Verito in Mahindra dealers, provided they preferred a certain brand or were getting better service in the dealers. Such open badge engineering really succeeded in the Indian market. The customers received tried and tested Renault technology through domestic Mahindra service and backup. What Indian buyers were not being duped but being offered the opportunity to get the same tried and tested product by way of different dealer chains. Number 4. Lotus Elise Opel Speedster Vauxhall VX220 2000-2005. The Lotus Elise was used as the base for the Opel Speedster and Vauxhall VX220. making it one of the clearest examples of different sports cars being built from the same design. The three cars were all based on the same aluminum chassis designed by Lotus, the same Toyota-derived 1.8-liter engine, and essentially the same basic suspension system. The variations were slight, such as other interior trim, other styling details, and other marketing messages. And yet the essence of driving was the same. The Lotus Elise was positioned as a pure sports car for enthusiasts who wanted the ultimate driving experience. The Opel Speedster was marketed as a sophisticated European roadster. The Vauxhall VX220 was sold as a British sports car with German engineering. But here's the thing, they all delivered the same thrilling performance, same acceleration, same handling, same everything. The badge engineering was so transparent that automotive journalists openly discussed the similarities in their reviews. The genius of this arrangement was that it allowed Lotus to amortize its development costs across multiple brands while giving buyers different ways to access the same excellent driving experience. It was badge engineering that made sense from both business and consumer perspectives. Number 3. Chevrolet Grand Vitara XL7, Suzuki XL7, 2001-2004, Canada only. Next, we have one that passed below the radar so far, it is even forgotten by badge engineering geeks. At the beginning of the modern 2000s, GM subtly resold the Chevrolet Grand Vitara XL7 in Canada exclusively, a Suzuki rebadged XL7 with little, but the badge altered. Same engine? Check. 2.7-liter V6. Same interior? Identical. Same chassis? You bet. Different grille? Barely. It was a bow tie on a Suzuki, literally. What is so special about this one is that it was so limited and stealthy. No, this was GM creeping into Canadian Suzuki dealerships and just sticking on a Chevy logo, as though they did not want anyone to know. It is unfamiliar even to longtime car guys in the US who never had a chance to buy it there. It was in some strange zone of limbo, available to a relatively small number of years and north of the border only. Having seen one on the road today would amount to pretty much a unicorn rebadge. It is this type of badge engineering that will make you question what is next in the closets of automakers, because when Chevy can rebadge a Suzuki and sell it under the cover of darkness in Canada, who knows what other surprises await us. Number 2. Mitsubishi Colt Proton Satria GTI, 1997-2005. Badge engineering is even more interesting here, in cases when performance tuning is applied. Although the Proton Satria GTI was a fork of the Mitsubishi Colt in terms of platform, it retained major changes which made it much better to drive. On a similar note, the Malaysian-made Satria GTI was fitted with the same base 1.6-liter engine found in the Colt, but with a Lotus tune-up to make it a real hot hatch. Member of the same platform, same basic engine, yet with some performance tweaks that in fact warranted the alternate badge. Badge engineering done properly, adopt a successful platform, and actually adapt it to a certain market. Malaysian buyers got a car that was mechanically related to the Colt, but genuinely different in character and performance. The Satria GTI proved that badge engineering doesn't have to be cynical. When done properly, it can create vehicles that are genuinely different and better suited to specific markets. The performance modifications were substantial enough to justify the different badge and higher price. This collaboration between Mitsubishi and Proton showed how badge engineering can be used to create genuinely different vehicles rather than just cosmetic variations of the same car. Number 1. Geo Tracker Suzuki Sidekick Chevrolet Tracker 1988-2004. Our last example is the most perplexing case of badge engineering in the automotive industry. The same compact SUV with different badges was sold under the names of Geo Tracker, Suzuki Sidekick, and Chevrolet Tracker by using its own dealer network. These cars were all fitted with the same engine, which was 1.6 liters, the same chassis, the same four-wheel drive, and a similar design. The distinctions were entirely skin-deep and rather cosmetic. Grills were different. Interior furniture was different, as is marketing rhetoric. Mechanically, they were the same. The Geo Tracker was sold as a cheap family SUV that would be exciting and practical among the young buyers. Suzuki Sidekick was marketed as a Japanese luxury imported car to customers who favor foreign makes. The Chevrolet Tracker sold as an American SUV that is reliable. Here is the twist, though all of them were manufactured by Suzuki on the same parts and the same process. In effect, GM was selling the product of Suzuki via their network of dealers with an altered badge, much to the concealment of customers that they had bought different vehicles. This badge engineering station took more than 15 years, and consumers were indeed ready to buy even the same products with a different badge as long as it served their purpose. The Tracker Sidekick was a solid, competent, and affordable platform, no matter which badge it had. And that, my friends, are 15 rebadged cars that show how appearances can be so misleading. Your first car may have been a Mercury that was really a Ford, a Cadillac that was actually a Saab. The lesson? It is not what you drive that is bad. Investigate and you may hit the jackpot with that luxury feel and on a low price scale. Need some more automotive secrets revealed? Like and subscribe, and we will keep peeling the veil off the secrets of the car industry.